Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Breaking Kayfabe. I am your predictions champion, Zell. That is right, I am here for a second time today because we are also here to talk about 205 Live. Yes, 205 Live. It happens the same day as SmackDown. Therefore, 2 times in 1 day. You're welcome. Now, 205 Live was an okay show. The wrestling is usually really good, but there's never really much to it. However, we did get a change to a title match, so let's hop right on in to the 205 Live Deep Dive. Also, let me know what you guys think about that name, because I'm unsure. 205 Live opened with the fallout of SmackDown Live, with Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan still laying out. Roman Reigns did make his way to his feet, and he did make his way to the back, but they didn't show Daniel Bryan doing the same, as they just cut to a video from earlier with Drake Maverick addressing Humberto Carrillo and Lynn Urato. Drake Maverick set the main event for tonight, Carrillo versus Urato? Carrillo versus Urato. After the altercations that they had, and Lindsay said he's been in the Cruiserweight division on 205 Live since day one. He competed in the inaugural Cruiserweight Classic, which we've only had one, so I don't even have to say that. And he has never had one Cruiserweight title opportunity. So Drake Maverick says, you know what? You're right. So if you win tonight, that match between Carrillo and Drew Gulak becomes a triple threat, so high stakes are on the line. We move into our first match. It is Tony Nese versus Mike Kanellis. And this match was a very decent match. I've always been an advocate that Mike Kanellis deserves more. This goes to show Mike Kanellis and Tony Nese are very good at what they do. Tony Nese has always been very impressive to watch, and this match was a really good one. One particular spot that came to mind is Tony Nese took a DDT onto the steel part of the ramp from Mike Kanellis. Mike Kanellis took early control in this match, and he held on to it for quite a while. This would change when Tony Nese counters into a German suplex, sending the back of his head onto the bottom turnbuckle, and then Tony Nese would have the turn and control until the match started going back and forth as the match started to wind down and to the finish. Both men are trading big move after big move, and Nese sets up for the running Nese in the corner. Mike Kanellis gets up and goes for the super kick, but Nese blocks it. Nese knocks him back down, kicks him in the head, puts him back in the corner, goes for the running Nese one more time, but this time gets hit with the super kick. Mike Kanellis hits his finish. 1, 2, 3. Mike Kanellis picks up a rare victory on 205 Live. More importantly, over the former Cruiserweight champion. Tony Nese is kind of left in the ring, frustrated, visibly and audibly frustrated, as he's essentially fallen so far from grace with that Cruiserweight title, and now he's losing to Mike Kanellis, who never wins in the opener of 205 Live. We cut backstage to Lindsay Dorado trying to warm up for his match, and Ariya Daivari walks in, as Ariya Daivari has played a crucial role in the so-called split between the Lucha House Party, and Ariya Daivari wants a thank you because he says this never would have happened if he didn't take out Metalik and he didn't beat Kalisto. Lindsay Dorado never would have became that single star that he always should have been. Lindsay Dorado just dismisses Ariya Daivari altogether, saying, the only reason my brothers don't talk to me anymore is because of you, and you're nothing but a leech. You're in this for yourself, and once I win tonight, I'm gonna call my brothers, I'm gonna say I'm sorry for listening to somebody like you, and we're gonna have the biggest Lucha House Party 205 Live has ever seen. I assume that just means a ton of piñatas. We then get another backstage promo with the Singh brothers saying that everything went awry when Kendrick and Tozawa stuck their nose in their business. They then say once they get themselves back together, they're going to introduce them to the lights, camera, and Bollywood action. They also said that they can't dance, so I guess that has something to do with it. We then get a match with the people we were just talking about, Akira Tozawa and the Brian Kendrick, and they're facing off against... Hold on, we actually have names. They're facing off against Brandon Scott and Tyler Hastings, which that name does sound oddly familiar, but I really don't remember it. They got in more offense than I thought they would. They hit them once, and it was a cheap shot. And Tozawa and Kendrick won. There was really nothing to this match. It was kind of a match to put over Tozawa and Kendrick as a team. And that was really it. Following the match, Kendrick did grab a microphone and continue his feud with Jack Gallagher, saying, big surprise, Jack Gallagher isn't here again. But I talked to General Manager Drake Maverick, and he said next week, you can choose any partner you want, and you're going to face myself and Akira Tozawa in Madison Square Garden, because they're really building up this MSG return because it's been so long since they've been there. That was really it. We then cut backstage one more time. Oney Lorcan is being interviewed, but he doesn't even get to answer the question because Tony Nese is once again audibly, invisibly frustrated. He's smacking things, he's throwing things around, and Oney Lorcan walks up to him, tries to comfort him, say like, hey, like, I know how this feels, I've been there before, and Tony Nese just snaps. He starts swinging. Oney Lorcan obviously fights back to defend himself, but Tony Nese just rams him into the wall, rams him into some of the production crates, and he's just screaming, you don't know how this feels, you've never been there, you don't know. And not security, but people backstage eventually come over and get Nese off, but the damage is done. Oney Lorcan looks hurt, and Nese is lost it. He's snapped. Well, not entirely yet, but we'll get there. Now it's time for our main event, Urato versus Humberto Carrillo. And I love watching Humberto Carrillo. I really am a fan of his style. I feel like he's a little lanky and he shouldn't be able to do some of the things he can do, but I think that's what makes him more impressive. And Urato is no slouch either. But for some reason, this match just never took off for me. Also to point out, the chops from Urato were particularly vicious. If you do end up watching this match, like, keep an eye on Carrillo's chest, because his chest, yeah, that doesn't look like a good time. This match did have a couple of sloppy moments, and the sloppy moments that they were definitely stood out. Like, you can tell that something wasn't right, but the match went on. Like I said, it never really took off for me. And the finish felt like it kind of came out of nowhere, where Urato hit a Hurricanrana, rolled him up, 1, 2, 3. That was it. So Urato is now in the match is now a triple threat match because of Urato, and he is inserted into the Cruiserweight title match at Clash of Champions. But the excitement isn't over yet, because as Lindsay is celebrating up the ramp, Gulak comes out, blindsides Lindsay, and proceeds to beat Lindsay to a pulp. Carrillo finally comes over to make the save, but Tony Nese comes out and beats down Carrillo, which is a big surprise, especially the history that he and Drew Gulak have. You wouldn't think he would be helping him, but like we said, he's snapped. He's lost it. Nese and Gulak bring the two back in the ring. Tony hits the running Nese on Urato, and Carrillo gets hit with Gulak's Argentine swinging neckbreaker. And 205 goes off the air with Gulak and Nese standing side by side as Gulak holds up the title. This is interesting. I guess I'm glad this became a triple threat, because I feel like Humberto should be a cruiserweight champion. He does need a little bit more character. But if Tony Nese could have been champion with, like, no character, I feel like Humberto should be just fine. Yeah, so like I said, this was pretty much nothing crazy happened on this episode of 205 Live. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't, like, great. The best match of the show was Tony Nese and Mike Kanellis. But everything else was kind of, not to say throwaway to be disrespectful, but it just, nothing stood out after that. And not to say it overshadowed it, because like I said, it was a good match, but it was not something that couldn't have been overshadowed, if that makes sense to everybody. The only thing that really came out of this was the match is now a triple threat, and that about wraps it up for 205 Live. Thank you everybody for watching. Tell me what was your favorite part of 205 Live, or if you even watched 205 Live. And, like, share, subscribe, comment, and thank you for joining us here on Breaking Kayfabe, and we will see you next time.